Up next, favorite things. Opening up to happiness and joy.
Welcome everyone to Favorite Things, and today we're talking with our design goddesses Stephanie Wirth and Georgeanne Rivas from Leo Deigns, and we decided on Favorite Things today that we were going to talk about either an area in our home or something in our homes that we love that bring us joy, because the more joy and positivity you bring to your life, the more that you will attract to your life. So Rachel, can you share your favorite home thing with us today?
Okay, so I am going to show a picture. Tell me if you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. So this is from, do you guys know the store Scout in Anderson?
Yeah, we love Larry.
We love Scout.
Okay, so Larry's designed my whole home.
Oh my God, he's amazing.
Oh, fabulous.
And I did knock down the wall and made it an open floor plan. This is not part of my, oh my gosh, hang on, I'm forgetting what it's called. A hardware store. Okay, hang on. It's from a hardware store, and it was a display case there. Cool. And like even the glass doors that roll, they're on those like metal roller balls, so you can hear that beautiful slide of them. And we use it. And my husband grew up going to, like you were talking about, Georgiana, to a lot of flea markets and what's the word that you say you're going?
Are we having senior moments?
Thrifting.
We are a bunch.
That's okay.
Thrifting.
Antiquing, right? That's what they would always say. We're going antiquing, and they have a ton of collections. So we have a few of their collections in that cabinet, and some books, and just things that you look at that remind you of something in your life. And I've always, when I see some people's homes, it's beautiful, but it looks sterile because you can just tell those balls aren't something that mean anything to them. And I love your incorporation of things of meaning with beauty and making it all work. Cause I think that's what makes your home yummy and special, is it means a lot to you.
Thank you for sharing that. And, I have not been inside Rachel's home. I haven't been in anyone's home here because of COVID, but I cannot wait to go and visit you all inside your homes. Okay, Alyssa, what is your favorite home item?
Okay, so I'm not in my home at the moment, so I'm hoping this is going to work. I'm just going to hold up my cell phone here. This is a painting.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yep. I'll just bring it a little closer. Yep. There.
All right. Okay, so this is my dining room, which we recently redid. We kept it very natural and sort of muted in tones, but then there was this sort of big wall that for me was like calling out for a pop of color. So you probably saw that was the sort of that iconic Roy Lichtenstein girl with a hair ribbon that, that from the 60s that everybody knows. But the interesting thing about this piece is, and it was painted by a Russian artist. Her name is Sveta Esser, Esser, and she does these sort of pixelated paintings where it looks really clear looking at my on my cell phone right now as a picture, or if you were standing in my home looking at this through your cell phone camera. But in person, it is very abstract. It's kind of hard to make out exactly what it is. So it's colorful and it's bright, but you're kind of like, it's neat. I think I can see, it's sort of a conversation starter, and I really love that about it. And what she does is there are all these like rows of squares, and that's how she paints. And she paints one row, next row, and the next row. And she does it with a palette knife. So they're very perfect squares. It's really neat. I had never seen anything like it. My husband and I stumbled upon it.
We'll have to include that link in the website for people who want to check it out. It's
really neat. And just know that thank you so much.
I like your light fixture too.
Oh, thank you. It's, as we talked about in these Chicago homes that are sort of these long rectangles, we don't use our formal dining room all that much, but I just wanted it to be a pretty pass through that you would look at as you kept moving. But yeah, I really do. I will send you the link, and just know when you see it in a photograph, it's sort of very different from what it looks like in person.
But you can
So.
tell how much, even when you're describing this, you can tell even on your face and how you're describing it, that it brings you so much joy. And that's something that's a painting that you see every day. And when people come into your home, it's kind of like what Georgeanne was saying, when you walk in the front door of the type of Chicago style homes, that's the focal point probably, right? Like when people walk in. So that's great. Thank you for sharing. So Dina, what is your favorite thing?
So I wish I would have taken a picture of something in my house. I didn't. And I think because I always, anytime I paint in my house, have to paint a room or change the color, whatever, I like you, Karen, find the paint choosing to be overwhelming. And I always want to go find the one color that is the color that will do it. And last summer, unfortunately, we had to replace windows in our master bedroom, and water damage and all kinds of junk going on.
No.
Tons of money for nothing but new windows, which nobody would have noticed before anyway. But I did get to paint my room, which was so exciting, and it became very bright. And I found this color through a friend who's a designer. It's Essential Gray by Sherwin-Williams, which I was a little surprised was suggested, but I thought it was the perfect gray. I think grays can be so hard to find that perfect one that doesn't read super cold or super warm. So this is my go-to color of the moment.
Nice.
And that's kind of the trend right now is gray, right? Wouldn't you say?
Well, I'd like to paint my whole house white, but my husband's not going for it.
Not a fan.
Gray is always a neutral. It's always a good color because it's a neutral, really. It just, it's sort of, it's like white to me, so it is a really good color, and it works well and lets other colors pop from it. So you can mix, stronger colors with it, and they always work out really well. But to your point, grays are difficult. There can be some really cool grays, and they have purple undertones, and then there's some brown undertones. So every black is different. It's kind of crazy. It can be overwhelming for sure.
What's your favorite gray? Do you girls have?
You know what? I love Manor House Gray. It's a really pretty color from Farrow and Ball. And I love Pavilion Gray. But there's so many great colors that we use. Georgeanne, what's your favorite?
I think Benjamin Moore Harbor Gray is one I've used a lot. Maybe we could send a link to our top favorite 10.
Yeah,
that would be great.
We'll give you our favorite grays and whites. I don't, know.
Our listeners would love that, because that is definitely something that's so hard for people, at least for me, overwhelming as well, to pick color. Thank you, Dina, for sharing. My favorite.
I think it's something so easy for us, so I'm happy.
My favorite, I took off the wall.
Oh yeah.
Actually, hold it up.
I think I know what this is.
You know what this is? So
yes,
this is a painting by the artist Francine Turk, and I discovered Francine. Are you clapping, Dina?
I'm a big fan. I have 2 of her pieces in my house.
So
she's amazing.
I want to first show you when I first met Francine. It was at the Randolph Street Art Fair. My husband and I ran down. We were late, and they were closing it up. And the reason why I want to show you this other one is we were late, and I was like so upset. Oh, we missed it. Forget it. And we started to walk to our car, and there was this woman in her van loading up pictures, and we stopped and we just were sort of looking, and I saw this painting, this one, and
that's so pretty.
And I just was like, I love that. Are you still selling? I know you're leaving and you're packing up to go. I didn't know who she was. I just loved this painting. And she said, well, it's still wet. And I said, that's okay. And it was literally still wet, right? And she hadn't signed it at the time. And I said, I would love that. And so my husband and I bought it on the spot from her. And then before we took it, we're like, I mean, you can't see it, her signature, but it is there. But it's hard to see. Anyways, she just kind of took a stick. She took a stick and signed it. And then I looked and I'm like, what's your name? And she said, Francine Turk. And I'm like, you're the woman that I want to come see. And how amazing is it? I always feel like coincidences, the universe just has a way of working out. And I really wanted to see her, and I was disappointed, but I actually met her in such a more personal way that day. And then we bought a few other pieces. And then when was the show, Georgeanne and Stephanie, that you guys had? A couple years ago?
It was 2 years ago. A couple years ago.
you hosted, you had her at your
We did like a collab at her gallery.
At her gallery. And I went in really with not an intention of buying anything, just to kind of go and see her work, because I already have 3 pieces. I'm like, I can't get another. But I saw this, and she meaning this woman was calling out to me, and she was saying, look at me, I am the grateful goddess. I have my peonies beside me, which is my favorite flower. I have my latte, and my macaroons. Like, she was just like, you know, who I want to be, just lounging. And I had to get it. And I brought it home and put it on my wall. And I think a week later, Georgeanne, I called you because I was like,
yes.
Oh
I'm
my
getting
God.
sentimental thinking about this. What happened? What the coincidence?
What did I say to you?
You said, you're not going to believe this, that, was it written on the date written on the back or?
Here, the date, April 1st.
So, right. And I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps again. When Karen called me, I said, this can't be. So it was the date.
April 1st is the day that I was given a call that I had cancer diagnosis. And, you know, April 1st is April Fool's Day. And I thought it was a joke. And I thought someone was playing a big joke on me, but obviously it wasn't. And since then, which was 9 years ago, well, up until I got this painting, I hated April 1st. I always loved it when the kids were little and did funny kooky, you know, made them breakfast, like pretending it was, you know, those fun breakfasts, like, but they're whatever. Like, it looked like meatloaf, but it was chocolate cake or whatever. But I hated April 1st. I dreaded the day until 2 years ago. Now I celebrate it. I buy myself flowers. I get macaroons. I have my lattes. And I just am so passionate about this painting. And it just inspires me to just be free and open to those challenges. Because that was a horrible, horrible time. But the silver lining is meeting you all and just learning, like, you know, discovering this painting and just, and I hope I get to meet Francine again.
You will.
I have to tell you, Sharon, I have to tell you this. My experience with Francine, the one painting I have was during her, when she did the Rock Legends, and I have Peter Franklin, but it was a fire sale because her assistant, maybe it wasn't really her assistant, it was a friend of mine. So she's like, she's moving, come check this out. So I have this huge one that's amazing. And then I went to, when she moved back here, she moved away and then came back. She had something else at her new gallery a little bit further out. I don't know where I was, but there was something going on, maybe again, sort of a fire sale. I don't have any of her nudes, which, you know, she's so known for. But Karen, I was there in the studio and she did these series of, it was words, it was song, it was lyrics. And there was one from Pearl Jam, which was my late husband's like favorite thing in the world. And I was drawn to it. And then when I realized what the lyrics were, and then I like, to your point, Karen, after the fact, but while I was in the studio, and everybody, I'm talking to everybody, sorry to just make it about Karen, but it was my anniversary. It was like August.
Oh, from your late husband, from your
yes. And like,
oh my gosh.
And it was that, and I was like, this was one of those signs where he's like messaging me to like go get this.
Wow.
Through Francine's artwork.
Right.
I think she does that for a lot of people.
I've heard a few stories. Karen wasn't the first. When I got that call, I thought, wow, but I've heard other examples like yours that something be at the back of the art that was, you know, somehow another meaningful thing.
She must channel
Yes.
people. I'm sure she's very passionate
Wow.
and in sync when she paints.
Right.
Let's move on to Georgeanne. What is your favorite home item?
You know, it's funny because I buy so much and then I'll end up selling something in my house. So the only thing I'm super sentimental about is photography. So, you know, pictures of my family. I pulled a couple pictures out, but maybe I'll send them to you later. Right now I'm sitting at a table with of inspirational books that I'd like to, I think both Stephanie and I get a lot of inspiration from all sorts of books, not just design books. But I think my favorite thing in the house is, I'm looking at a picture of my mom here. This is my mom when she was.
Oh, can you bring it closer?
She was when she was a little girl. And then I actually kind of forgotten when I had Maggie run back to get, and this is Maggie when she was a baby.
I love that picture.
Isn't that sweet?
Oh, hold them both up. Hold them both up
Okay.
next to each other if you can for the viewers.
Okay.
I can't take it. So
They're my mom. So
we talked about
Maggie,
photos. Yeah. It's so amazing
Okay,
to have those nearby.
This is a portrait I took of Maggie. I think she was like 12 here.
Wow.
But so I just love photography. I take pictures a lot. And so photography is, another passion of mine. Obviously, I didn't take this photo of my mom, but I like taking pictures. But mainly, I if I were to have a fire, it's the only thing I'd grab is, well, now we can have them on our hard drive, I guess now. So maybe I don't need to worry about that.
And, it's interesting because when people are selling their homes, a lot of real estate agents say, take your photos down.
Right.
Do you agree? Sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but do you agree?
I think what they're trying to have the client do is have the people coming in and envision themselves there. So I think.
Right.
So if they're family photos and it's like a single guy, they want to cater to that guy versus, you know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah. But it adds so much to have I have photos everywhere. My kids run there. There's one of my husband and I when we were dating. Stephanie,
you must have a lot of photos.
We have a lot of photos. Stephanie, tell us about one of your favorite.
Okay. I actually, my favorite spot in my house, like I spoke about it earlier, is my library, because I think I interspersed all kinds of different collections throughout and meaningful items. My father recently passed away, so
I'm sorry.
I've put a little collection of things that remind me of him, and it's like this Porsche brass buckle because he loved his car and he loved racing. So, and memories of my childhood in Vienna because they bring me a lot of joy. But I also, my favorite like furniture item is I might have like 6 armoires. I'm an armoire fanatic, and I have one from Provence, and I have a kind of an unconventional small kitchen, so I use the armoire to put all my dishes in. So I'll send you a picture of how that looks. But I agree with Georgeanne. I think some of my favorite things are quirky little things that remind me of my son or my upbringing. But I do love armoires. That's one thing I can't.
Well, they're a good way of storing items, but looking beautiful, like and clean,
right.
Minimalist.
And my house didn't have any conventional closets.
Right.
So it was kind of, most people wouldn't like that, but I was so excited because I'm like, I get to get a bunch of armoires in every bedroom.
Right. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for sharing your journey, your passion. A little bit of roadblocks that stopped you, but still you overcame them. You are going to definitely encourage listeners to help them get inspired. And if you're listening right now and you kind of just really aren't sure what to do and you need help, definitely reach out to Stephanie and Georgeanne at Leo Designs, because they will be there to listen to you and help guide you through the process. And I just am so excited that we had this opportunity to talk. And everyone, just take a moment being in your home and enjoy that space. And if you're not enjoying it, go out and buy yourself some flowers. Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Unleashed your inner goddess yet? Thanks for joining us today on Grateful Goddesses. We invite you to visit our website, www.gratefulgoddesses.com, to access today's show notes as well as other helpful resources. Don't forget to leave a review. Until next time, stay strong and empowered to be a grateful goddess.